Hello, everyone in YouTube land. Zach Klemmer, living in Tucson. And in this segment, I have Kathleen Pickrel, and we're going to be discussing her foundation, the Terrance Pickrel Heart Fund. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Zach. It's so nice to be with you today.
And tell us a little bit about how you got started with this great work you're doing.
Oh, thank you. Well, so let me tell you first what it is, and then I'll tell you how I got started doing it. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay, so the Heart Fund, the Terrance Pickrel Heart Fund, is a nonprofit that provides financial grants to low-income advanced heart failure patients who are receiving care in Arizona. So people who are either pre or post heart transplant or pre or post what we call LVAD, left ventricular assist device, that helps people who maybe can't get a heart transplant yet or may never get one. And they're struggling financially because the process of going through a heart transplant is it takes a lot out of you mentally, emotionally, and financially because a lot of times nobody's working. So what we do is we provide these grants to help with basic needs, housing, lodging, medications, utility bills, that's a big one, food and transportation. And so that's the nutshell of what we do. And how we got started was that I am a longtime medical social worker by trade. I primarily worked with cancer patients. And then a couple years ago, just over 2 years ago, I applied for a job with the heart transplant team at our local university medical center. And as I was applying for the job, it just hit me like a bolt of lightning. You could start a nonprofit that provides financial assistance to some of these patients, because I've known how hard the struggle is and how little resources there are out there for patients who are struggling financially due to medical reasons. There's a lot of research that goes on, a lot of money that goes to research and those kinds of things, but not a lot of money where people can help put food on the table, pay that electric bill. And so it hit me that I could do that, and I could also name the fund after my late husband, Terrance Pickrel, hence the Terrance Pickrel Heart Fund. I could name it after him and honor him and have his legacy live on by helping people who also have heart problems. So he ultimately passed away from heart failure in 2014 after his first heart attack at age 45. So he lived 13 more years. And now his name lives on by supporting and helping people in our community who are struggling with the heart issue like he did.
And age really, a lot of people think that older people have these heart problems. One of my closest friends passed away at age 28 from heart failure.
You hear about it, don't you? That's right. And like I said, my husband was 45 when he had his first heart attack, but he had several more throughout that next 13 years. And so we were fortunate to have him live that long. But yeah, it can strike you at any age. And in working with heart transplant patients now, I see quite a few who were busy living their lives, not sick a day in their life, and then one day they wind up in the hospital and learn that they have heart failure. So it can be very silent. It can sneak up on you. You won't necessarily know that you have a heart problem.
Kathleen, I just learned that your foundation qualifies for the Arizona State tax credit on your return.
It does. This is a great thing. So yes, so we're young. We're just over 2 years, or just under 2 years old. And this last October, I applied and we were granted the Arizona Charitable Tax Credit designation. And what that means, this is so fantastic and people don't understand this. if someone owes money on their Arizona state taxes and they want to be able to designate where that money goes rather than just paying the state, there's a list of qualified charitable tax organizations that you can put your money toward and not pay that money to the government. It's $1 for dollar up to a certain amount. And of course, now I've forgotten the exact amounts for this year, but it's over $400 for an individual and over $800 for a couple filing. So if a couple winds up owing, say, $700 on their state taxes this coming year, and say they're interested in making a donation for heart issues, they could make a donation to us, $700, and that $700 would be taken off of their Arizona state taxes. And there's a long list of other organizations. We're not the only one. So if you have a passion or a love for some sort of charity, look and see if they're on the list, and you will get to designate where your tax money goes rather than letting the government decide what they do with it.
Well, you can donate part of your refund also, can't you?
Oh, maybe. I haven't even looked at that. Okay, I'll have to look at that. But that's been really helpful since we're really new. Getting just the funds that we did this last year from this tax credit has been very, very helpful. It really raised the amount of funds that we were able to get. So we're just trying to get the word out about it, that this is a thing, because people think it's a tax credit where you would only get a percentage off your taxes. That's because that's what people are used to. But this is $1 for dollar, which is amazing.
Yeah, generally that's what a tax credit means rather than a tax deduction.
Right. There are two different things, and you have to know which one you're dealing with.
Tell us a little bit about how the left ventricular device system works to support someone's ailing heart.
Oh, yes. This is a fantastic creation. It's, left ventricular assist device, and it's kind of just what it says. It assists the left ventricle. So not everyone who has advanced heart failure can necessarily get a heart transplant, and there are a lot of different reasons. You have to be well enough physically, other than your heart, for your body to withstand a heart transplant surgery. So some people are not well enough to do that. There are a variety of social or psychosocial issues that go into it. So there are a variety of reasons why someone may not qualify for a transplant or not qualify yet. This is where sometimes the LVAD comes in. What they do is it's a continuous circulatory device. So you have it's still a big surgery. They implant the LVAD, attach it to your heart, and then the blood gets pumped continuously. So the interesting thing about that is someone has the LVAD, they often do not have any pulse. So sometimes if the EMS has to come out, that freaks them out because they're like, we don't have a pulse. And it's like, no, it's okay. So sometimes people get the LVAD as what we call a bridge to transplant. So they're well enough to get the LVAD, but not well enough to get the transplant. So they get the LVAD, which circulates the blood. So then their other vital organs start to get the nutrients and the blood and the circulation that they need, so they can get, quote unquote, well enough to then maybe qualify to get a transplant. So that would be a bridge to transplant. Well, some people are never going to qualify for a variety of reasons to get a transplant. So then the LVAD would be what we call destination therapy, meaning this is what they're going to live with for the rest of their life, however long that winds up being. So the interesting thing about that is it goes in, it's surgically implanted, but it has an external power source. So it's implanted here, and you can't see, but it comes out there's a drive line that comes out of the abdomen that is attached to batteries, big batteries, and a controller, which you have with you all the time, and it has to be powered all the time. So you have these battery packs that get recharged, and you have, a couple of sets that you change in and out. And a lot of people, when they sleep, they'll plug into the wall for overnight so that there's no discontinuation of power there. So it's a really cool device, and it's a really, it's an option for some people to be able to keep living. And some people do really well with it too. A lot of people can go on and live a happy, productive life with it. It does take a lot of, it's a big change. So mentally, it can take a lot of getting used to. There are things like you'll never get to take a bath again because you can't be submerged in water. You're never swimming again. There's a lot of things that people have to adjust to.
Yeah, I looked online a diagram of what it looks like, and it's basically a plumbing device that pumps the blood from one side to the other, right?
It's a fancy plumbing device.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Exactly. But when you're on that device, you also have to be on medications like warfarin or some sort of blood thinner so that the pump doesn't get clogged. You have to be really careful about the drive line since it comes out of your abdomen. There are dressing changes that have to happen 3 times a week, and you have to be very sterile. You have to be very careful about infection and taking good care of it. So there's quite a bit to it.
How can our viewers get in touch with you?
Well, probably the easiest way would be to go to our website, which is heartfundaz.org, just like it sounds. Heartfund altogether, AZ altogether, heartfundaz.org. And we're on there. You can contact us on there. You can also look us up on Facebook or Instagram easily. The Terrance Pickrel Heart Fund will come up. And we would love to have you check us out, or like us, follow us, so we can give you information and keep you up to date. We're like I said, we're pretty new, so we're going to be working on creating a blog, maybe even a YouTube channel, and we'll see where it goes. But we would love to get the information out, because the other part of our mission, which I'm going to be working on more, is promoting heart health through outreach, and through education and community outreach. So we're going to be starting that. So I'm hoping to have a lot of educational material, as well as maybe some community events that will help raise awareness of how people can take better care of their hearts and their cardiovascular systems, so that they don't ever wind up needing our help. That would be a big goal. That would be even better.
Well, thank you, Kathleen. It's been a pleasure seeing you again. And again, this is Zak Klemmer with Living in Tucson. My contact information is below. Please like and subscribe to my channel. And I'm here for your real estate needs. Have an awesome and amazing day. Thank you.
Thanks, Zach.